Welcome all you earth signs to your weekly energy update. This of course is for all you Taurians, you Virgo, you Capricorns, no matter where it is at in your chart. And what a week we have coming up. This is March 13th through March 20th. We of course on the 18th have the Virgo full moon, which I did just put out yesterday, some videos for each of the zodiac signs for that Virgo full moon, and I'll have that linked at the end of the video in one of these corners at the end. We also on March 20th start Aries season, so happy birthday to all you Aries that are out there. And also it is the beginning, of course, for the solar new year, so happy solar new year. We start into Aries and go all the way through to Pisces again. And of course we also have the equinox that starts on March 20th. That'll be the spring equinox, and of course in the northern hemisphere, and the autumn or fall equinox in the southern hemisphere. I also put out videos for those for each zodiac sign, and I'll have those in the corner here at the end of the video as well. But for this reading, it is timeless because these are going to have messages from our ancestors on what they want us to know about this upcoming week. And we're going to start with pulling a card from these angels and ancestor oracle cards just to see what general message that they have for all you earth signs for this week. Let's get a little more shuffle here one more time. And we do have the amethyst skull to represent our ancestors, and all the eggs to represent all the generations that come after, and we've lit all these candles in honor of our ancestors as well. So our beautiful ancestors, what would you like our earth signs to know about this upcoming week, please? What would you like them to know? Okay, they said no, not those, but those two. So you've got the White Witch, be the light. So I love that. And then you also have the Traveler, move in a new direction. So this combination here is really about focusing on the light that you are in the world. And it can be, especially, it's so easy this day and age with everything that's been going on over the last couple of years, and of course everything that's going on in the world right now. It's so easy for us to get drug out into the chaos, into the storm, and instead of being a light, we can be putting our energy, and instead of focusing on hope and love and joy, we can be focusing on, the opposite of hope, which would be despair, the opposite of joy, which would be, of course, fear and sadness, and just focusing on those darker energies of our fear instead of focusing on the light and on that unconditional love. So I really love that this message that's coming through from our ancestors is to start this new path, this new direction, and focusing on the light that you are. So, and don't be offended if you don't believe in witches and stuff. Just focus on that you are this being of light, that you are made of unconditional love and light. And that's what they want to share, what they're telling us. They want us to share with the world. So it says, take the higher road and choose the light. Remove yourself from lower energy experiences. So exactly what I was talking about. So this card represents the maiden aspect of the triple goddess of paganism and modern Wicca. The maiden is a gentle, innocent, and pure aspect of the goddess, a loving soul who wants nothing but the best for the whole earth. Here she's joined by a horned owl, showing that she's willing to respect those with more wisdom and experience than she has, but she is also willing to trust what she feels to be right within. And with this card, you're being reminded of the goodness within you, and I also feel the goodness within every single person, because all those characters we're seeing out in the outside world, they are just characters. The actor behind every single one of those characters is a being of light They are powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit beings made of unconditional love, even if they're playing a putz in this world, a villain in our world. The actor, the amazing actor behind them, is that being of unconditional love and light. The extended message for the card says, no matter what is happening to you or around you, you have a choice. Choose not to be pulled into dramas, bickering, or energies that are just going to limit your joy. If you're surrounded by people who are hostile towards you or someone else, or you are in a negative situation, perhaps in your workplace, you're being invited to be the light. You're an incredible person who can really bring light. So how can you change the energy? How can you redirect the conversation to love? How can you protect yourself? How can you help the person that is being picked on? Or are you the one who's guilty of causing a drama? You will know the answers. Know also that you're being encouraged to shine the light you were born to share. Yeah, so I love that with this new direction is what they're really focusing on there for you. Now, I know in this world that we have going on, especially what's going on over in Europe and with Russia and everything else, that it's hard not to get pulled into that. And when our heart aches for those people, for anyone, there's, of course, populations in Russia who don't believe about that. There's people in America that don't like what other Americans are doing. It's everywhere. We have conflict, we have heartache because we are beings of unconditional love and light. Our heart just feels like a grip, it's in a vice and the pressure on it. And that's because our heart is igniting. It wants to help, but it feels helpless. And I just put out a U times 2 video called Help for the Heartache, which, if I remember, I'll link it specially down below. If not, I know I have the U times 2 playlist down below in the description box, and I'll have the U times 2 playlist on one of these corners at the end of the video as well. If you go in there, you can find it. It was only a couple ago by the time this video comes out, and it talks about how to deal with that heartache that we feel, because we can't really change the world from the outside in. We can try to do things, we can write to our senators and our House of Representatives and try to do something in the physical world to help all the chaos that's going, but really, if people's hearts haven't changed, their actions won't change. And so we can't change them from the outside in. We can only send them love, show them love, and then that love gets sparked within them, and then they change from the inside out. So, being that light, showing the love is what they're really wanting you to look at here. And I'm going to move these up here for now. And we're also going to pull cards here from the Ancestral Path Tarot and just see what else your ancestors want you to know. But yeah, they definitely know, all the ancestors that have been, war and conflict is not something new for our generation or even the last couple. Since the dawn of time, when there was 2 people, there's been conflict. So that is not a new thing. And so they're bringing some wisdom for us during this time, because they have it for sure. All right, so what else for our earth signs? What else do you want them to know about this coming week? Okay, they do want those right there. What else? Okay, that one. What else? And those 2. Okay. Just move this to the side, and we'll start here with this one on the bottom, which is the Princess of Staves, which would be the Princess of Wands or the Page of Wands in the Standard Tarot. Now, wands are your drive, your ambition, your aha inspiration, your passion, your spiritual energy, and your energy in general. And with this change of direction, that makes sense with this. This is about a change in where you're directing your energy. So this is newness, new energy coming in for you, which that makes sense when you're focusing on bringing love and light in instead of the, shadowy, fearful emotions, the chaotic emotions, all those uncomfortable emotions, it does change your energy. Because on whatever you focus on is what grows. So if you're focusing on the news and all the bad news and all that fearful news and all that stuff that's coming in, that grows in your life. But if you're focusing on sending out love and focusing on joy and laughter and doing loving things, that grows in your life instead. And so this is that message for you, that you hold the wand, you hold the staff in your hand, you hold the power to do that. And so you can ignite this new level, this new, like I said, this new direction of your energy in your life. You are the one that holds that. We are influenced by the outside world and people's actions and words. We're not stupid. We know that, right? So we know that what we bring in our eyes and our ears and our nose and our mouth and our touch, all those 5 senses, is what activates and changes things within us. It influences our energy. But it influences us, and it may make it a harder choice or an easier choice to decide, but we are the ones who decide. We hold our power. So they want you to know that, because you have the 4 of staves, the 4 of wands, and 4s are stability and solidness. And I love this for this reading because it's so perfect. Think of a table with 4 huge legs on it. It's a very solid, strong foundation. And this new direction, this new energy, this new focus is what brings your energy to a stable level instead of it being all over the place and up and down and to the side, and where you feel like you're on this roller coaster that's going up and down and throwing you all over the place, and you have no control over it, right? Like you feel you're on a drama train that's about to leap off the tracks and explode somewhere. It's like, no, you have control. You're the one that's controlling the speed. They just showed me in my mind, one of the old little choo-choo train tracks that you used to have, and a lot of people like have it as a hobby. And they're showing me, I think it's like the Addams Family or the Munsters. It's one of those shows where they, they did destructive things during the movie, and one of the kids was having the, blow up the bridge for it to have the train crash. And so they're showing like that is the type of control that you can have. You can have that type of energy where it's destructive, or you can have a beautiful slow moving train. And they're showing me an old childhood memory now of there's this park in San Antonio when I lived there. They had this beautiful train that went around by the zoo, and it just was a really nice, beautiful little slow moving, wonderful, smooth moving, beautiful ride. And that's the kind of energy that you can have instead. And then you have the 2 of sacred circles, which would be the 2 of pentacles. And you can see here this infinity symbol here. And for you, this represents bringing a different type of energy into the outside world. The sacred circles are the pentacles that represents the outside world. And the 2 of pentacles for me represents the 2 sides of you. You have your human side, the animalistic side, that it's reactive, it's instinctual, it's fight or flight mode. It just reacts, it doesn't think. And then you have your higher self, that powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being that I was talking about, with this light that you are. And you have this 2 places that you determine your worth by, and how you impact the outside world. And so this is about bringing this beautiful light, this magic, into the human physical world. So this is definitely a reiteration of what we were talking about, of bringing something more than the fear into the world. So I love that. And then you have the Prince of Swords. And the Prince of Swords would be the Knight of Swords in the Standard Tarot. And swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, your attitudes, your expectations. So your whole attitude and thoughts about things. And the knights are all about action and movement. So this is action and movement of your thoughts. And you can see here, he has this Ace of Swords that he wields in his quest. All the knights have a quest, of course, right? And the Knight of Swords is in the quest for what this Ace of Swords brings, which is two things. One, it allows us to connect to the higher truths, the capital T truths of the higher realm, those that are of light and unconditional love. It allows us to see the truths of things, the real truths of things. But also, the other second thing that it brings is the ability to cut away those thoughts and those beliefs that no longer serve you, the small t truths that are of the bear, of our human, of fight or flight and fear, all those ego, shadow, human, small t truths that were raised. And the small t truths, our ego feels it needs to defend because it feels that if those truths of the human small t truths are disproven or not believed, it just shakes up their entire world, because that's what they're using to define success and who they are and their lovability and everything else. Whereas the capital T truths, being of unconditional love, they don't need defending. They are, and they will always be true no matter what someone tries to prove or disprove. Like, one, we are unconditionally loved by the creator of all things and that huge posse of beings of unconditional love and light on the other side. We are powerful, eternal souls. And people can argue that that's not true, that's just something made up, and da-da-da-da-da. But when we pull back from this human existence and go back to the other side, we'll be like, oh, that was the truth. You know, there's truths that we will just know in our soul that are of unconditional love. If they're not of unconditional love and they're of conditional love and fear, that's a small t truth. And this is this quest that you're on, and this beautiful awareness and this action that happens around your thoughts and your beliefs. Yes, because here you have the Hierophant, which this would be the spiritual leader card, and it is about this movement, this change of belief, this movement to a higher level. It's like a teaching, a spiritual teaching moment, the connection to your higher self, connection to the higher realms. So it very much looks like kind of like the high priestess, you know, how she has the two pillars, and she has the veil that she's able to go behind. This is kind of like, almost like this Two of Sacred Circles, where the Hierophant is the part of us that is bringing spirituality into the human conscious world, but not so much what the high priestess does, which is delves into the deep, subconscious, the deep unknowns, connecting to the higher realms, where we find these capital T truths. So this Hierophant card is bringing in this awareness where you're really working out the differences here between your capital T truths and small t truths, the bringing that energy of the higher realms, that love and light into the human world. And this is you questioning and readjusting your beliefs in your spiritual beliefs, the restrictions, seeing the restrictions of conditional love and the freedom of unconditional love. Because even in organized religions and spiritual beliefs, I've had friends that go, well, how can you tell, what's of the creator and what's of man, even in, organized religions? Because most religions and spiritual beliefs, I'll say it's inspired by their creator or their higher power, whatever, the religion or belief is. But when you look at it, if it's like we talked about, if it's of unconditional love, then yeah, that's of the spiritual world. But if it's of conditional love and fear, that might be a little influenced by our fear ego that has seeped into our religious belief or our spiritual belief. And so this Hierophant is this, these two pillars here are working out what is of creator, what is of man with all this too. And your final card, another 4, and I kind of want to move this one over here and put the 4s on top of one another. And so you have the Four of Sacred Circles, which is the Four of Pentacles, and that represents the outside world, like this one did here. And this, again, there's this solid foundation that's coming in with your outside world because of this information that your ancestors are bringing to you. And the Pentacles, the Sacred Circles, does represent a certain amount of how you judge yourself, how you judge your worth, how you determine who you are. And this Four of Pentacles, this Four of Sacred Circles, really has like this journey within it of where it looked outside of itself to define itself by relationships, whether it was, romantic, friends, family, whatever, or it defined itself, its worth, by situations and circumstances, which can be the safety of the world, which can be your job, your education, whatever circumstances you feel that you're in. And then also you could be judging your worth by your body, by your possessions, by your bank account. And this individual that went through this journey realized that when they defined themselves by those things, that it felt unstable because those things in itself are unstable. Relationships are unstable because people change, so our relationship changes, or people pass away and that relationship with that physical character ends. Also, situations and circumstances never stay the same for long. And things, possessions, bank accounts, our bodies even, they break down, they are stolen, they deteriorate, they burn down, whatever it might be. So all those things show that instability. And when we have ourself defining our worth by those things, then we feel unstable. So where this card comes in is when we find our stability in the higher realm, in our eternity, which is stable. Unconditional love is a love without any conditions. It just takes one condition to be conditional, so it has zero conditions, and so it is stable. It's eternal. It's the love from the other side. So when we define our worth by that, that's where this stability comes into. And so as we focus on bringing that unconditional love and light instead, take this new direction, your energy stabilizes, you feel like your outer world stabilizes, and it's just this magical time for you. Really, it feels like this magical time, all this magic. I just love it just flowing around you, coming from yourself and flowing into your human side of your life as well. So I love these messages from your ancestors for you. It's perfect timing for this. And of course, being earth signs, you love to feel grounded instead of all over the place. So this is a welcomed, energy, a welcomed message from your ancestors. And if you're looking for additional messages of love from above, in addition to these weekly energy updates, I also put out monthly readings for each zodiac sign, full moon and new moon readings, and a variety of other videos. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those and be notified immediately when they become available, if you give this video a little thumbs up and click the like button, also click the subscribe button, and that'll give you access to this notification bell. When you go in there, if you select the all option, you'll be notified of any new videos that come out on this channel. Also, doing any of those things helps spread the love, because when you like a video, you share a video, you comment on a video, or you subscribe to a channel, any of those things makes the YouTube algorithm super happy, and it wants to share videos of that channel with other people as well. So if you feel inspired to do any of those things, I am grateful for that. Also, this is a general reading. If you want even more specific information for your specific life, I do offer personal readings, and all that information is in the description box below. All right, Earth signs, as you go through this amazing week coming up here, please know that you are unconditionally loved by your ancestors and by the Creator of all things. And of course, I love you too. Have an amazing week. I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. But in the meantime, you hang in there and you take care.